Hey everybody, my name's Badfish. Welcome back to another episode of Gone Gaming. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the beautiful city of San Pedro, my current ongoing city Skylines series based off the American West Coast. I typically do modded builds, detailed builds, and cool stuff like that, so if you like to check that stuff out, stick around and see what we build here today. But today, guys, the plan is we are going to be building out some mansions. So I'm going to be using a couple different houses as well as some actual mansion assets. So right now, what you're seeing me on screen is I'm just using a couple different housing assets that I've had for a while and clipping them together to make them look a little bit bigger, a little more grand. And then we are, like I said, going to use some actual assets that are purpose-built mansions off the workshop. So you'll see those in a little bit. So just kind of starting out with the base layout of these different houses, where I want them to be. Where I'm doing this right now is I'm putting it right on top of the hill on my coastal town that I built out. So if you haven't seen that, I have this little coastal town in the north of my map that has like an amusement park. It has a cool boardwalk and some other neat stuff. I can definitely link some of those different videos down in the description below, but we're building out kind of a unique skyline for that place. So you're gonna see in the background this big observatory. That was kind of part of it. I wanted to make, basically I challenged myself to make a skyline without using actual skyscrapers. I just wanted to do it using different different aspects and different builds that you can do. So I have an observatory in the background, there's a nuclear power plant off in the distance, and now we are going to be building out some very nice, very posh mansions. So right now what you're seeing me doing is all those houses I just placed down, I wanted to kind of delineate their different lots, and the best way to do that I found is using fences. So I had this black iron fence from my European build that I did a few episodes back, and I thought it fit really nice to just kind of make this whole neighborhood very delineated and very I guess, yeah, posh is the good word for it. I really wanted it to be nice and kind of gated feel to it, so I thought just having those really nice fences kind of lining even the actual road itself kind of added to that. So now just adding a couple more of these mansion assets just to have a few more things on the other side, and again we're going to fence that in as well. I think we end up with 8 separate mansions once this is all said and done, so we got a couple cool ones to pick from. At the end I'll kind of run through them for you guys on the live play so you guys can pick favorites and see which ones you like best. But I try to not do a ton of detailing. I definitely do some landscaping and stuff like that, but as far as the detail goes, it's just gonna be residential props and just some different artwork and things like that, because I mean at the end of the day, even though they're mansions, they're still houses. There's not going to be tons of wild stuff, but we do some cool detailing, and I think they're all unique enough that you can definitely pick favorites with them. So what you're seeing me do now is I really like the idea of having these have very lush yards. So if you have been following San Pedro, or if you just see with your eyes in the background, there is a ton of basically the base land is brown, kind of dirty, kind of more desert LA vibe to it. So having these very lush yards I thought was just something that would kind of add to the affluence of this area. They have the ability to throw a ton of money away on their water bill, so they are going ahead and doing that and having pools and making everybody else jealous, I guess would be the operative term there. So again, you just saw me add some couple different props to that one, just some chairs and some different things around the pool, like a grill and umbrellas and things like that. And now I am just going to go through and start landscaping a little bit. So I am going to cut a little bit of the landscaping, but just to give you an idea, inside these fenced out areas that aren't part of the houses, I'm just doing the base landscaping that I usually do for San Pedro, and just kind of having it line those fences and go up against the hills. And the other good thing about landscaping in this kind of area is, especially when you're working with different elevations, it can get a little tricky, a little wonky. So being able to put trees and kind of cover up some of your mistakes is a big win. So just a little cheat from Badfish there for you. It's okay to hide some weird stuff in the background. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just line out this little lot with some cool trees and shrubbery, and we are gonna put down some artwork. So I got a couple like modern sculptures and things like that, just to again add some more interest to the space. And if these people have the money to buy these giant mansions on the hill, they probably have some money to install sculptures and fountains and artwork and all that cool stuff. So I wanted to just kind of have fun with it. I think the thing I really like about this build is you have no limitations, because, you know, presumably the rich people that live there don't have those limitations. They can do whatever the heck they want with their landscaping. So I just had fun with it. I just had fun and added some cool little details, cool little driveways, turnarounds, and, you know, just tried to make it unique to each build, while not going overboard, because you want to still have like the semblance of a tied together neighborhood with the uniqueness of each separate mansion. So let me know what you guys think. I think I did a pretty good job of kind of tying those two ideas together. So right now we're going through and just putting in some planters on this one. So the reason I'm doing that is I like these decals, but I don't like rigid edges as much when it's just like the decal meeting into the yard. So I wanted to just kind of have a more delineation, and I think the planters have always helped me out there, and they've always made it look okay. So just putting those in, and then we'll do some landscaping right around them just to make sure that, you know, it's kind of filled in those spots up against the fence. I didn't want to bring the fence right into it. I didn't want to have that many right angles going on there. And then just a few little trees, and going into the backyard of this one, having that pool there right up against the cliff face, so you can, you know, hang up by your pool and look over the whole town and the bay and all that good stuff. These are definitely places you would want to live in, or if they're Airbnbs, rent out for as long as you possibly could. Because something about waking up and going out into a pool and looking over a giant, or well, not giant, but looking over a city and the ocean and the bay, I mean, there's something healing about that, right? So now just landscaping out that last little bit there, adding a little more natural landscaping to the cliff face, kind of just having some of the trees kind of cling to the cliffs themselves. I just thought it added, again, a little more interest when you're looking at it straight on from the city, as far as the skyline of the city goes. I keep calling it a city. It's more of like a town. It's not really that gigantic. I think there's only a couple thousand people living here. So that's that sculpture I was talking about, just popping that in with some bushes real quick and a fountain for that guy and his little turnaround. And then this house over here, we're gonna fence it in just a little bit more, just to have a little bit more of that natural landscaping spreading through the neighborhood. I think I didn't like how that just kind of cut off back there, and this guy's yard was way too huge. That's the other thing too, is I built a couple of these mansions and actually scrapped them before I built what you're seeing now. And the reason is I was giving myself too much space. Like, the yards were massive and took forever to detail. So I think sometimes it's okay to tell yourself to scale down a little bit and go for some, you know, smaller yards and smaller builds, so that way you can actually finish. You know, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, I think. So adding this really nice big pool to the back end of this guy, and again, just propping in and adding the decals for the yard and stuff like that, just to make it look nice and pretty. And, you know, the decals bleed out over the fences and stuff. I thought that was fine personally, just because if you're germinating and watering a bunch of grass, it makes sense that it's going to spread at least a little bit further than your yard. So I wasn't too mad about that. I think, again, with City Skylines, it can get easy to get bogged down in being perfect, when sometimes the less perfect answer is more realistic. So I'm letting that grass bleed through. And then I had some fun with this house. This guy's got some cool stuff. So these pots here are actually illuminated. So at nighttime, they will glow like a greenish white, which is pretty cool. I also got some like red neon ones that I might add in some different places. But I thought this guy had some fun. So he gets these cool statues and a sweet basketball court in the back, and nice little grill area for people to hang out. And he already has that dope like cabana up top. So this is the fun house. This is where you go if you want to party. And it actually works out, because this house and the one next to it are considered leisure, like commercial properties. So they get a ton of traffic. You'll see that in the Liveplay. It's just like people coming in and out of them. So yeah, those are the party houses. They have a fun time. And I noticed that there was some garage area over here, so I kind of painted that in. Unfortunately, the roads I'm using in the surface painter don't mesh together, so there's going to be a little crack. I cover it up with a car, but I mean, you know, it happens. It is what it is. So I didn't want to kill myself trying to fix that out. And adding just some of these bushes to the kind of sides of the surface painter concrete, just to kind of hide some of that wonkiness again, and make it look a little more manicured and fleshed out. And then over here, we're just gonna put in some rocks and some trees and stuff and some more natural landscaping right in front of this house, and then go on the back side and do, again, more of that manicured stuff. You'll notice that, like, I'm not, again, going overboard with the detailing. I don't think you really need to. I think what's nice about a build like this is you can kind of let the buildings speak for themselves, especially if they're placed well. So if you can get them kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say like I did, but yeah, kind of like I did, and have them against like cliff faces and things like that, where they have like interesting kind of geographic area going on. You know, they kind of speak for themselves, and the details are just kind of the icing on top of the cake, which is nice with this kind of build. And definitely, you know, with some of those houses and stuff and some of the cliff faces, there again is some wonkiness, so just trying to hide that as best as you can with the trees and stuff. And I really like too, because it just allows me to try a bunch of different landscaping. So I think those, you know, cypress trees, I try to use them throughout the entire neighborhood to tie it in against the, you know, the black iron fences, and obviously having the same natural landscaping kind of going through ties it through as well. I think when I'm trying to build neighborhoods, I really try to balance those two ideas, right? So you want to try to have unique builds with kind of a whole theme going through. So like that European build was great because it was a whole European themed couple blocks. This build is great because it's a whole themed, you know, block of mansions. So I think when I'm trying to plan out builds, I try to plan out over neighborhood themes, and it just helps me detail a little bit better, and it also helps me look through the workshop a lot better and a lot more efficiently, because if you know kind of the theme you're looking for, you can definitely, it's better than just kind of like aimlessly searching. You know, I think for this one, I got like 15 or 16 different specific assets just for this build. And, you know, those are like some of the fountains, some of the landscaping stuff I'm using, and it just gave me a better idea of what to look for. But we're just finishing out the build by propping out this house, putting a nice little roundabout. This guy really likes artwork, so he's going to have a big sculpture out back. And the last couple of things, like always, we are going to just go through and add in lighting, because I realized it was very dark, especially with those driveways not having any lamps or anything. So we're going to just put some lamps on the driveways. We're going to go ahead and do a little more landscaping. So I'm just going to kind of do drive-by landscaping as I fly through the town, and add a couple separate things that you'll see popped through. And then I'm kind of switching the lights between these big bulb lamps and just kind of the normal, you know, little, like, I guess they're supposed to be like old school gas lamps, but obviously they're not gas lamps. But that is just gonna about do it for the build and the time lapse, guys. So I'm gonna let the music go ahead and play out, and I will see you on the other side for the live play section. Hey guys, welcome to the hills and our beautiful mansions we built today. I hope you guys enjoyed the time-lapse piece of things. So I just want to take you around, show you some of the different little buildings we made and what we got going on here. So as we kind of move on through, let me just start the simulation so we get some movement back there. We got this one right here. This is more of like a modern looking house, looking mansion. I really enjoy the lawns I put all throughout here. I like that they're very green and lush, kind of comparative to, you know, the more dull brown of San Pedro and the desert and all that. But I think it looks really good. I like this one a lot. It's very clean. Moving on, we have another more modern looking one right here. Cool little statue right up front, just to kind of draw your eyes driving by. The whole actual neighborhood is lined with this kind of fence right here, this like wrought iron fence. I thought that just kind of helped tie things together and give it a nice look throughout this entire neighborhood. Some of these buildings, so like these big mansions, are actually considered like leisure properties for just people to go visit. So they are getting quite the bit of traffic, I'm noticing, for better or worse. So that's just the thing that's going to happen. But we have this big one right here, very pretty, very kind of southwestern in its vibe, southwestern US. And you know, ignore some of the clipping of the decals that's going to happen. But we have a nice little pool out back here, a lawnmower, some more landscaping. I feel like the cypress trees, I didn't line every lot with them, but I do have like at least one wall of the lots lined with them. I think they, again, just help tie together the neighborhood a little bit and add some, you know, kind of pristine looking landscaping. And then coming through here, we got this one. This guy's got the cool basketball court and these illuminated planters with one that's clipping real bad. I'll have to fix those. Those were not that bad earlier, I promise. I'll fix them later. And then these two lion head statues, which I just thought were fun. And then there's this guy over here with this cool little fountain. And the other thing that I really like, and I tried to kind of look at like the mansions in LA and like the Hollywood Hills and Calabasas and stuff like that, they kind of cling to cliff faces like this and have these like very prominent viewpoints and stuff. So first of all, the view from here is awesome. I love this town. I like this little waterfront we got going on. There's a fire over there. Hopefully someone helps that out. I'll have to take a look at that in a minute. Anyway, I think it looks nice just having them kind of lining the hillside here, and then we have the big observatory out back. And just coming through here, the last few that we haven't taken a look at. This one, again, just more of a modern one. Just did some simple detailing, nothing crazy, and then landscaped it. This one, same thing, you know, put a pool and some stuff out back, did some simple landscaping just to kind of tie it in and fenced it out. And then the last one here I really enjoy with this roundabout. It's got this big old, like, I just think that looks cool from here. And then this guy, this little sculpture over here actually lights up at night too. I wanted to have this one be in a more prominent fixture with something kind of like this, but I ended up just kind of running out of time and I just kind of plopped it there, and I thought it looked nice and you know, adds some more. These guys are really into art. They got their big old fountain and all of their beautiful topiaries and stuff, and then this giant sculpture, that's what they're into. And this guy just has parties all day, non-stop. That's why cars are just coming in and out. He's just throwing ragers. That's his deal. But I think it was a good addition. I think it was a fun build. Definitely let me know what you guys think down below. Definitely let me know your favorite mansion too. I guess we can just kind of number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we got 8 different ones. This is how they're numbered up through. So I'll just give you an overview of them again. So let me know which one was your favorite, what you enjoyed about the build, what other stuff I could have added, or if you have any like other residential props that you like to put down in spaces like this, let me know that. And if you enjoyed the build, guys, you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like down below. And if you want to see some more modded city skylines, more detailed builds like this, definitely subscribe to my channel. I typically post about 3 or 4 times a week. But we're going to jump into the cinematics with that, guys. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.